less uncomfortable for sitting. I'm simply just going to gently scan the body for a moment, sitting, allowing the sit bones to make that full contact, to drop any tension around the pelvic floor. There might be. And to just very gently feel as if from the waist down you're relaxing into the earth. And from the waist or base of the ribs up, there's a lift that's quite effortless. You don't have to make it happen. And you can imagine or feel that your crown, top of your head grows longer and you're feeling body towards the sky. And then the sides of the body grow out a little bit towards the sides of the room, right and left. And then the back of the body feels like it's just gently sensing behind you. And with that sensing behind you, the back of the hips could broaden, the back of the shoulders could open. And there's a feeling of being a bit more three-dimensional in space. And I'd like to imagine there's gentle windows on your skin, through the pores of the skin that just open to receive. You may even notice there's areas in your body that feel like they don't want to open, and other areas that open very easily, and that's just good for awareness. And then we'll bring our hands gently to our heart. You can keep your eyes closed if you're comfortable, sounding 3 ohms together, just with the hands resting at the heart today. Breathing in gently and slowly for your first om. Oh. Oh. One more long deep breath, even if it's a little hum that comes. And just receiving, the eyes can open or just stay closed. You can relax your palms to your lap, just receiving how that feels through the pores of your skin. Good. And then we're just going to very gently start to move and stretch from seated. So if you take your hands onto your knees, I'm going to do a seated cat and cow. So I'd like you to focus, like we did one week, really on this thoracic area here, so that the movement's quite slow. So if you want to watch first, you can, or if you kind of know already, that's fine. So I'm just going to nod my head and really go slowly through the back of my shoulders, as they really trying to sense and feel the movement where there's a bit less movement, and letting that be the focus of the movement. And then as I come up, I'm just feeling, sensing the back of the neck, gentle lift of the chest, the movement through the back of the heart. And you can coordinate any comfortable breathing. It can be a slow, soft breath on the movement in no particular way, or you might want to exhale and curl as we often do, and inhale and arch. And just kind of sensing into the fluidness of the movement. Sensing into space between the vertebral discs and fluidness, fluidity. And we're just going to take a few more of those at your own rhythm. Lovely. And then finding your sense of center of that three-dimensional space as you come back to sitting on the sit bones and upright in your own time. And as the head just gently stays on top of the spine, chin dropping down, we're just going to work with one shoulder at a time so we really start to notice the releases. So we'll squeeze the shoulder blade forward, squeeze it up towards the ear, squeeze the shoulder blade back and squeeze it down. And just continue 6 of those, really working around the muscular tissue as well as the joint. The gentle squeezes, 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 and then a big release. Lovely. One more of these circles at your own pace. And then as you gently bring the shoulder blade back, just rest the hand in the same position, palms open or closed. And just notice if your shoulders dropped. So funny when I can see on the camera how unlevel my shoulders are for rolling. Good. And then, well, look, I can't see so much in yours. It must be a little bit actually, yes. So we'll go the other way. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Lovely. And you can really coordinate a nice like as you drop the shoulder. Lovely. One more. And then just notice how they feel. Good. Lovely. And then we'll come to some gentle stretches for the back and front of the chest and then the back of the shoulders. So I'll start with opening up the back of the shoulders. So we're just going to do this quite gently, even if you've got quite a good mobility in your wrists and arms to come into full eagle, just gently to start with. So we're just going to take the elbows towards each other. Take the right hand, you might look different to me, opposite around. And we're going to open the palms. So they're doing this at shoulder level. So you've not brought them in. And then sitting just nicely as you are and gently lift the elbows just to where you feel a gentle opening. Pause there, and what I'd like you to do is look up, and with that looking up, the elbows might come up a bit more. Take a nice complete breath into the area you're opening up, and as you exhale, lower slowly. Lovely. And then we'll change sides, so we're going to breathe in and then wrap the opposite arm around. And then widen to shoulders so the back of the palms face in, elbows are towards each other. Lovely. Lifting to where you meet your own edge. Taking a breath there, pausing. And then look up. Draw the shoulders lift a bit higher. Take a breath there, pausing. And then whenever you feel ready, lower slowly. Releasing and opening here, breathing in. And then bringing the hands back to the heart, pausing, just taking a breath there. And then we'll bring that into a deeper eagle for those that wish. You can stay with that if that's enough. Drawing the elbows together. This time, rather than the palms opening, you could bring the back of the hands together. Some of you might find you can wrap. I don't do the bones so much nowadays. I find it's enough for me here, but you can choose if your hands go there. And same thing, we're just going to go up a little, pause and meet the breath. Lovely, and then look up. Taking a breath as you look up. And then lower slowly when you feel ready. Lovely, and then float the arms open. And as you float the arms open, turn the palms open and reach out. And then from the sense of your lower ribs coming in, not arching up, coming in, staying connected to belly button to pubic bone, turn the palms open and just lift the breastbone and, not breastbone, the collarbone, sorry. Breastbone lifts as well, but we're not pushing it out. Nice full breath in there. And then bring the hands back to the heart slowly, pausing to notice your breath. And then we'll change the eagle arms. So we'll just cross the opposite way to last time with the back of the palms meeting elbows towards each other, just in your own range. And then lift halfway or to where you meet your edge. Take a breath there. And then look up and follow the breath. And then when you feel ready, just slowly exhale or release down. Good. And after releasing there, just take a few gentle shakes. Actually, it might be easy to shake the hands with the shoulders there. Lovely. That's nice shoulder release. We're just going to sit to receive that. Notice how your shoulders feel. You might want to move them or notice any difference. Lovely. Okay. Let's come to kneeling. And let's come to lunge. So if you take your right or left foot forward, it doesn't matter because we'll be swapping shortly. And just like to bring your hands to your solar plexus. So that's kind of between the belly button and just under the rib cage. And just feel from there that we're going to be working a little bit through connections from our center. So that almost if you get lost, go to your belly button, but anywhere here, center to limbs and back, which we sometimes do anyway. We're going to just bring it a bit more into awareness now by pressing into this area and then just rocking into your foot. And see if you can just sense how the leg might come all the way up to the hands. And if you find that difficult to do, you might want to walk your foot a bit closer so there's more connection from the hip to the hands. And just play with that connection from belly button, navel center to hip, from belly button, navel center to knee, from belly button, navel center. And we can go in different directions with this, by the way. I'm just being playful and rotating a little. Belly button to hip first. If you feel that quite easily, you can then go to your knee. And if you feel that easily, take the connection all the way down to the foot, through the bones. Turning in different directions, just feeling that sense there. Lovely, and then we'll change sides. So we're just going to take the other foot, and it might be just a little footstep to get more connection rather than a big one today. Pressing into the lower ribs just below, belly button. Sensing in there first, and then you can start to grow the connection, belly button to knee, knee to belly button. In the developmental movement, we come out from the center to our limbs and then back from the limbs to the center as we get muscular connections through the hands and fascial connections through the tissues. Just waking those up. Notice if the connection through one side of your body is easier. It might be. Sometimes we've got predominant, stronger connections through one side. Lovely. And I know you're on mute, but just raise your hand if this doesn't make sense. Okay, great. I know we've done it before in different ways. Okay, lovely. And then we'll do the upper body. So if you just come on your knees, you might want to fold your mat over again if it's uncomfortable. We're standing rather than kneeling down. We'll do whatever you need to do, cushion or whatever you need. And then sense this connection here with your right hand. And then we're going to sense the connection from the center with the other arm, so the left arm. I'd like you to start to connect center to left shoulder, center. And you might use the other hand to kind of find the connection. So I'm connecting this to this. And there's the front connection that allows this movement. And the back connection too, which allows the same movement through the back body. So this connection in a way, once we've established front, that's here, that's here, that's here, behind the belly button. And that finds that those connections much more to the central muscles, to the, you want to call it the core center. Back And you might find your back muscles connect more, your back chains, than your front, or it might be the other way around, or it might feel even. Just have that place that we stay connected to that center today. Lovely. And then as this center feels like it engages a little, the other side, and we find it, then there's less chance we're going to strain our shoulders or back, our legs or hips, because we're keeping this a little bit in our awareness to move from, and the limbs can become lighter and more connected. Okay, lovely. Well done. Great. Good. Lovely. So we'll come back into our lunge with that feeling, and we'll find that sense of connection whenever you feel. You can use touch, you can bring your knee joint more towards you if that helps. You can find more connection through your foot up to your center. And when you found it, just take the time, it might even be one arm at a time today, to really stay connected as the arm lifts or as the arms come up. Lovely. Just feel the breath there, and if it feels good, there's the option to keep the base of the ribs gently connected downwards, and for the clavicles, collarbones to gently spiral up, the head to lift, only if that feels right for your body. Just receive that breath through every pore in your body, for every window. Softening any areas of tension you might feel through the windows of the skin. And then when you feel ready, just connect to the next full, comfortable in-breath, so that on the exhale, you can slowly let the arms maybe come out down by the sides for a moment. Giving the shoulders just soft, gentle rolls now. I'm not even really engaging the muscles, more the feeling of the bones and fluid. You can move the neck around a little to receive that. Lovely. And then we'll just flow with that sense from lunge to the other side, using dog in between like we would in sun salute. So the invitation is to stay connected to the center as you inhale, as you look up. As you exhale and come down, bringing the fingertips in front of the foot. Connecting through the center as we lift the back knee. And then stepping back to dog in your own time. So in our first down dog pose, maybe making it quite relaxing for yourself. So really just let your hands rest, shoulders soft. Springy feet, springy hands. Windows of the back of the shoulders can open. Neck can find freedom. Bend the knees as much as you like, keep it as gentle as you like. And just breathe there till you feel you want to release down. You can do a little bit of leg moving, of course, as always, or any movement to feel into the pose. Lovely. And there's no rush, but you would move down when you feel ready. We will come into dog again a bit later. Take a pause. You might want to come into extended child's pose or another resting position. Lovely. And then we're going to slowly, rather than come into cobra for now, slide the hands back to the knees, come back into high kneeling whenever you're ready. And then we'll do that through the other side. Just the other lunge will come up. We'll bring the foot through first to make it that sense of connection slowly. Limbs and legs coming back to center. Arms staying connected one at a time if that helps you, or both. Lovely. Just tuning into your own breathing rhythm. If it feels good, you can take that gentle lift of the collarbones and head, receiving the breath through the whole body. Even the pause on the feet can receive the breath in some way. And then flow with your own breathing. So there's an inhale and an exhale down slowly. Lovely. And then again, when you feel ready, you're going to bring that back knee off the ground. You might want to walk the hands and feet back a little to make it more gentle, potentially. Nice springy hands, relaxing that neck. Back of the shoulders opening up. And if you feel that there's any collapse in the shoulders or hands, feel like you're being picked up by a mommy cat gently through the back of the shoulders and the neck a little. And then really feeling the opening at the occiput, neck meeting skull. Again, you can be playful. You can stretch out your legs a little with the jogging stretch, walk the dog stretches. If anyone feels quite comfortable for here, you could do a leg raise, or you can, in the usual way, come down and rest if these stronger options don't suit your body today. As if we are doing them, really feel that your knees are drawing to that center and out, drawing into the center and out a few times. If you want to do that as an option to come down, doing it this way, working with your own comfortable range. Belly button to hip, hip to knee, knee to foot, belly button to foot, back of belly button to back of leg. All these wonderful connections to the center. Lovely. Great. And then you might want to just come back when you feel ready into an extended child pose. This time you could tuck your toes under for a gentle opening of the feet if that's comfortable for your body. Keep the heart gently open, back of the shoulders, and rest the head however is comfortable for you. On the ground, on your fists. Lovely. And then we're just going to slowly slide or walk the hands back to the knees, coming back up into that high kneeling position. And we'll just add on a little to this now. So from high kneeling, we'll flow into some of sun salute in just a few parts of it again. So we're going to inhale, float those arms up, staying connected to that center. Enjoying a gentle back bend of some kind with the breath. And when you next exhale, bring the hands slowly down through, you could even stroke the face with the thumbs, back to the heart, down to the navel center, all the way down to the floor. Staying connected, middle to hands, middle to limbs. Whenever you feel ready, staying connected, the elbows could bend a little. Springy hands lifting back into dog slowly. And from dog, rather than staying here too long, we're just going to to the side, just going to drop down onto knees now. And then you can slide your knees back, staying again connected from center, sliding the knees back, and lowering yourself comfortably. It could be a press through if you've got strength in your shoulders, or a roll to the belly. And then let me move my camera. But you're basically coming down into the position on the tummy, Advasana, pausing to rest there a moment. That's it, to connect to your breath. I'll just move my... Lovely. So we're just resting to notice the breath for a moment. Head is relaxed. Enjoying that softening of the abdomen on the exhale. And seeing if your breath in your feeling body can reach your lower back, your hips. And then from this sense of softening, we're going to begin to just feel like we're growing our limbs again. So my voice might be a bit muffled, but if my head comes to the floor, back of the neck opening, arms out to the side. And then just in your own time, like a frontward starfish, you can begin that rocking. I'm not sure if this shows on the camera, but we've done it in class. I might turn to my side. It's just, my bedroom's not big enough sometimes to get my whole body. I need to put beds in the way, but you can see here anyway. So we're going to do a gentle rocking where one knee draws in. You can see me better this side. One knee draws in. So that imaginary front part of the crawling action of babies. I'm not saying imaginary, it's actually real, of course. So knee draws to center. We connect back to that center. And just be with that for a few moments. You can start to notice how the head, although I'm facing the camera, your own head might turn a little with the movement, that connection comes up to the neck. And if you can't feel that, start to imagine it and sense it slowly. And knee to really the center of the back of the waist, belly button, knee, belly button to shoulder. I feel that now it's in the opposite hand, in the same shoulder, different feelings, waking up. Lovely. Okay. Yes. And then we'll take that just into a slide one side. So the knee comes a bit more, using that central muscle towards the same side shoulder. And when you come to your own comfortable range, slide the knee back. And making sure in a way, I can do this myself, I bypass the center and I push my knee back. So center to hip, center to knee. And then you change side, you rock the pelvis the other way, the head might want to turn, center to knee. And then center away as the knee draws out. Just keep going a few of those so you're strengthening that crawling connection. Just see where you all are. Great. Good. And then after the next one of those, you can bring the feet just in and just have that, sometimes what we do, that playful rock. And you might just want to be a little bit more aware of the center as you do that. So it's less about the feet and lower limbs kind of just releasing around. There's a felt sense coming up. And that can be any playful movement. It doesn't have to be how I'm doing it. Wake up the soles of the feet a little through some pressure, out through the toes, heels, and sense how those connections come up to the center. Lovely. And then with this playful sense, we're going to come up and actually we'll do the upper body separately. So we'll do it more slowly. So you can relax back down the legs whenever you are ready. Just enjoying a breath there, pause. And there can be a sense in a moment of the legs not completely disconnecting, so we don't let them be completely floppy in our awareness or unaware of. But there's a little tiny bit of, oh, I could wiggle my knees up to my belly a little and feel how my legs feel the front of the legs, feel the floor or the mat. That stays a little bit in your awareness, just enough to feel contained, but not rigid or tight there, if that makes sense. And then you can play with the upper body. So we're just going to start with a gentle rock. Arms are out to the side, you're rocking across your forehead. We might want to invite here long, soft breath. We might want to invite humming. Mm. Mm. You might even want to hum into any areas of tightness through the occiput, through the skull, through the neck. Mm. Mm. And then releasing the head back to center, letting that head really rest, back of the neck rest. And just playing with a moment with your one side, so we could be left or right. I'll do my left so you can see in the camera. But really it's that just you playing with navel, like we did when we were lifting the arms, navel to shoulder, back and front, navel to shoulder, back and front to elbow, to hand. And then when you feel you've got the connections quite well, just change sides. Good. And then what I'd like you to do is in a moment, we're going to play with something else, but I'm just going to ask you to come back with your hands under your shoulders and then ease yourself up onto all fours for a moment. And then what you can do here is just I've got one of these. I'm not expecting you to have one. I'm just playing with different props at home, but these work quite well another time. But instead of this, it's just that I've got one handy. You can have, I've only got a big pillow, but you could have a couch pillow, so a half size one, or a big pillow that you can fold. So you just got a little bit of pressure under your solar plexus again and tummy. So I'll let you get that. And when you have got it, just place it on the floor. And then those of you that are ready to, you're just going to come back up into a slow down dog. And feel those connections again for a few moments. Lovely. Good, great. And then if your pillow's kind of somewhere under your tummy when you come down, come back onto the pillow and bring it or wriggle till you've got it in that spot between ribcage, belly button. Let me get my balls, I like it. But pillows work quite well. So it's just to stay a little bit off the earth there and to sense when you're ready on your forearms, the navel center to the elbows, shoulders, hands in your own time. I go saying quite quick because I'm finding it in my body, but really slow down. If anything, sometimes even if you know it, it takes a little while to light the pathways up. So one side at a time, one part at a time, like belly button to shoulder back, and then front, etc. When you feel you've got that connection, we've come up into a gentle Sphinx pose, lighting up the connections from your belly button to your right hip to knee in your own time. And you might need to wiggle the knee in or out to feel that. Foot in its own time and back. Then you can swap sides, or starting this time from the center, growing outward to the first joint, which would be the hip, back and front, then the knee, then the foot gradually, and all the way back. Good. Lovely. And then from there, the invitation is to keep the neck rested, to pick the back of the neck up a little, as in if the head's a little bit forward, that you feel the lower vertebra where the neck meets the shoulders lift from the inside up, from the back of the neck up. Less about the face moving a lot, all the way up to the crown. And then you could, if your back's happy, lift your elbows up a little. Just keeping the hands springy and reactive into the center. back to the hands. You only go where your back's happy. Legs are long, pelvis is lifted towards you. Enjoying the breath, making sure it's a place where your breath is comfortable. Lovely. Good. And then we'll slowly, just when it feels right, it doesn't have to be with me, but I'm getting just a gentle signal to come down from my body. You might stay a breath longer or breath less. When you have come back down, just resting again, you might want to meet some tension under your forehead just to relax the neck. And then we'll play with lower body extension here. So you could have another pillow under your head, or you could just let your, I'm doing here on my fist. And then when you feel ready, sense the connection from the belly button to one leg, whatever leg you want to move first, and lift the leg to where it feels comfortable, keeping that connection. And then you can slowly lower and you can change sides. So you're using more of the center with that prop, usually with that connection. And you can just play with that a few times if you like. And just doing alternate leg raises. Wonderful. And after the next one or two each side, whenever it feels enough for you, at that point, just very gently slide your knees towards you, coming back onto all fours slowly. Good. And then this thing I've got here, which is a inflator. I don't know what they're exactly called. They're yoga Pilates inflatable. I can always post these as well. You'll end up with the whole yoga studio at home by the time you get back to studio. But they work quite well. But don't worry, because you've not got one today. So I'm just showing you because I'm using mine. I'm going to have it under my hands, and instead you're going to have your couple of cushions. So it's ideal if they're kind of a little bit more like a mound. So you've got, and you can play. This one folds in half and probably wouldn't stay rolled up. But you've got a little bit of, yeah, it does, a little bit of spring under your hand, just under one hand. And then we're going to swap to the other hand and the back knees. So that's what you do. And I'll do it with this. So we've got one hand up on a surface, the other one resting. And we've got, some of you might know this already, an open chain. So if we were to lift my hand, your arm in my hand, you can just watch if you want or copy, up to you. This is an open chain because there's nothing under it, back into the body and out. The closed chain, of course, is the connection to a surface. So we're playing with our own closed chain connection now through that touch of this cushion you have. Okay, and yeah, feel free to watch if it helps you, but we can all do it together in a way. So we're just going to, again, sense onto our cushion, or us here. Sense now, we were growing the navel center out to the hand just now. Now we're going to grow from the hand slowly back to the center. So I want you just to press, finding that connection that meets your cushion, and you're gently pulsating, pressing down and then releasing. And as you feel that pulsation, it comes up to the elbow. Once you've found it to the elbow, you go again, elbow to shoulder, shoulder to back of shoulder. And then you can also go front shoulder to belly button through that diagonal connection, and then belly button back out to hand, back of waist, all of those areas we've been connecting. But start this time rather than out to in, as we've been doing, hand grows slowly to each limb, to each joint, elbow, shoulder, then to center, back and front. And sometimes with this work, we can sense where we have disconnected a little bit from center in different ways. The idea is once we find the pathways, we can light them up in everyday movement. We wouldn't be doing this all day. Of course, we're doing lots of other things, but we might be if we were aware that we weren't walking with some connection occasionally, or brushing our teeth, and that we're on one foot more, and why is that kind of thing. Okay, and then we'll change sides, ladies. Whenever you're ready, just bring your cushion to your opposite hand, and you can make a little comparison as you start to work with that other side by pressing and releasing. Go as slow as you need to. If we go too quick, sometimes we don't feel it, and so difficult with Zoom, but just raise a hand if it's not doing anything, as in you're not really sure. It might be just something I need to. Good. Okay. I think we've done so much connection work, it's kind of easier for you guys anyway, usually. Lovely. Let's do that a few more times this side so we feel even. It's like when we do this, of course, we're telling our bones as well to stay strong and healthy. They respond to the movement, to the pulses. Good. And then you can release your hand slowly, coming up into high kneeling. And we'll just finish this little bit of play with a gentle flow. That gentle connection as you inhale and let the arms lift slowly. Whenever you're there, you can let the breastbone and collarbone gently lift, keeping that sense of your center, drawing into the middle. As you receive the next in-breath in your own time, exhale slowly, hands back to that heart center. And then we'll come tracing the center, navel center, down through the hips, down through the knees, walking the hands gently forward. We'll come back to dog and transfer to standing slowly through dog pose. So as you come to dog pose, you can start to walk your feet in when you feel ready. Lean into your forward fold, drop the neck and head, come up a little if you need to. Find the breath, and when you do, inhale, letting the feet grow bigger, and come up slowly into standing. Arms can come overhead. Breathing the arms overhead when you're ready. And back to namaste. Lovely, so we've come back to standing. And we'll just be with playful balance now, bringing in what you've done, so that you're just going to step into your springy front foot. And as we spring into the front foot, finding the center slowly, It's always drawing the joints in if we can't, and then growing out, expanding while staying connected into a starfish shape. Of course, be as playful as you want. You can, as we sometimes do, move in not just a frontal or side plane. In this case, you can go into rotation, into 3 dimensions a little, finding new ways to balance. And if you fall out several times or at all, just keep coming on back into the playful balance on one side. Lovely. And you can play until you feel your legs tiring too much to hold it without too much undue tension. And when you have, then take a moment in your own time, just have a little shake before we do the other side, a little wriggle in the shape of the leg you've just worked with. So light and playful as we transfer to the other side, whenever we feel ready, like a springy starfish coming into life. And playing with its, see, I favour a leg, I've done it twice. Unconsciously. Lovely. Keep the breath flowing. Again, whenever you feel you need to come out, no rush. You can have a little shake, a little wriggle. Lovely, good. Little bounce, great. Just do a little time check, so we work quite slowly. Oh, that's good, okay, lovely. So we'll just stay standing for just a couple more poses, I think, today. And we'll do some twists as we haven't done them. You might want to have a chair or an edge of a bed or a block, whatever you've got handy. You might not need it, but it's just sometimes nice when we don't have to reach to the floor. And then whenever you feel ready, you can start to come into a little normal warrior footstep. Hips and knees pointing forward if possible. And then using the feet if you rotate the hip. So we're going to start with just coming into some variation of Trikonasana, revolved triangle. So you're all very familiar with this, I know, that sense of coming forward, but finding that center connection perhaps a bit more, lighting it up. And then you can play with where you are in space, even if it's not using a prop. Finding your own comfortable breath. And if you are using a prop, that close chain back to the center from the feet, from the hand, limb. Open chain the other side. Lovely, just enjoying the breath in the posture. Clean the windows where there's too much tension. And then just sense when it's right for you to come out. We're going to draw back to the center as we do that, flowing with the breath. Just take a nice full breath as you come up. And let the arms come down in a floaty way, like wings. Good. And we're going to just switch legs so you can face forward, take a step and change sides. I'll just change my direction. Finding those springy feet, springy connections to center, and just moving in your own time. We go forward and we open. Close chain connection, open chain if you're using your hand on a surface. Belly button to navel to knees, knees to feet, back into center. Lovely, plenty of generous breath. Good. And then just slowly following any impulse to come out if you haven't already. And take a nice full breath as you release out. Bringing the hands to the heart whenever you've finished. Lovely. Okay, I think the rest of the class I'm going to do on the back. I'll show you first, just so you can have a look at what I'm doing. As I come down through maybe a squat or anywhere you'll feel comfortable to the ground shortly, we're going to be doing a full body rock. So just to show you briefly, when you're laying on your ground, you're going to start with the feet flapping in and out, pushing in and out. And you keep doing that so your whole body starts to receive this. And we're going to become conscious of any areas that aren't connected as much from the feet and the center. and we might need to work on one part at a time. For me, it's often my left side's less connected, so I might just go through my left. You might find different. And then when we've done this, which we're used to doing, the sort of lymphatic pump with the feet in and out, we're then going to go like this, external and internal rotation. So we're going to rock like that for a while as well. So the idea there is stuck energy, or even things like stuck tissues, which is stuck energy in a way, gets metabolic waste and gets less fluid, less oxygen through it, therefore pain and tightness. So we can shake out this way, getting everything moving this way, and also you can get stuck on this plane as well. And then you can kind of bring them together and you look a bit like you're doing a funny, silly dance on the floor. But this is just to show you before you start. So you can come laying down, because you're not probably going to be able to see. I might just go by my feet so you see my feet a bit more. And come into Shavasana. Let's do this way today. And just let your body settle into the earth for a moment. Lovely. Okay. Just enjoy that pause, breath there. Okay. And then start with, again, just pointing the feet forward and back, and keep going. So as you connect into your body, notice from your right foot, is your right shoulder and neck, part of your neck, moving quite easily in response. And then you can even stop the left of the right foot and just do the left. Notice if that moves easier or less easy. Get that connection. And then you can do both feet when you feel a bit more connection through both sides. Good way to work the muscles as well. And then when you've done a few more of those, you're going to externally, internally on the floor, hands and arms. I'm only lifting mine. I think you got the direction. And you then do both at the same time. And really go with it. Build up a little bit of heat, of energy. Really shaking around all the fluids. So if there's stuck areas, there's a chance to get them more in connection, more flowing. You might find your knees start to bend a lot more, and the whole body starts moving with it. Full body rock. And a lot of these I'm being showed in this somatic stress course, really to get to stuck tight, move areas that we hold tension in, habitual tension. I'm just going to see how you're all doing. Yeah, lovely. Good. We're just going to do that for 30 seconds to a minute longer. So if you're starting to get really tired in the next 30 seconds, you can slow it down and you can just rest with the sensations. But carry on for another 30 more seconds to a minute. Lovely. And you can start to bring it a little bit quieter in your body, so there's more of a less of a ripple, and then less of a ripple, and even less, till you come back to very slight ripples and then stillness. And just receiving how you feel. We won't do a lot more practice, but just before we do do our relaxation, you might just want to hug your knees in towards you and take a few gentle rocks and circles in any way that you like. Some soothing rocks and circles. And then when you do feel ready, one more restorative pose from here, bringing the knees and inner feet together, pressing the feet together, finding that sense of center as your knees open to where they're comfortable. If you did need to, you could roll up or bring two cushions under your thighs for support. If that felt easier for you to rest in this for a few moments, you can come into Baddha Konasana, supine butterfly. Allowing the hips to relax, pelvis, shoulders, face. Lovely. And just feeling into your breath. A few more moments in that posture. Lovely. And just when it feels right for you, you can draw the knees using your hands if it's helpful back together. And then we're going to slowly come into relaxation. So if you need a blanket or any props, please make yourself comfortable. Good. So as your body starts to settle into the earth beneath it, and just feeling in that sense energetically. If you want to use touch, you can, or you can just bring your attention gently to that navel hub. In a way, this represents life, and in the yoga energy system, it's the chakra for strength and will. I'm very connected to the chakra below it, which is the whole of the navel rib cage, where we've been working to belly button, which is creativity and sexuality. And that sense also of your own personal strength and gentle power, however you define that. Power for good change. And I'd like you just to almost sense that that center is radiating golden light into your body. And then you can let your hands either stay rested there, or you can let your hands go anywhere else that's comfortable for your arms and shoulders. And stay with that gentle visualization for a few moments as you sink inwards, that golden, which will be the colours of yellow and orange mixed, brighter, coming out into cells around. And you can feel them expanding and all the connections you made through that invisible web we have inside. Highly sensitive tissues that feel, that sense. Fascial network of our body. Protects, that houses all our organs. And wraps around the muscles and tissues. And creates form when our babies are born and develop. And you can do that in the form of internal visualization or feeling and sensing, or a mixture of them. Golden light radiating through to the navel to shoulders, back and front, shoulders to hands, back and front, navel center to hips, back and front, down from hips to knees, back and front, knees to feet, back and front. The navel center all the way up to the back of the neck and head. Navel center radiating up to the front of the chest, front of the heart, front of the arms, top arms, front of the neck, back, sorry, right and left, all the way through the face, throat, jaw, crown, forehead. Bathing in that golden light, recharging, re-energizing. As we go into the silent part for the resting, the invitation is to let that linger. And when it naturally starts to become less in your awareness, not forcing it away, but not holding on to anything either. Just resting in that silent space. As you bring your attention gently back, if it's helpful, if you enjoyed it, you could invite that same golden color. And the invitation is to feel it breathing into the cells through the breath, into the center. Filling your whole body up with that new energy, And any movement that feels right for you now, a wriggle, a stretch, a rock, a gentle bridge, whatever you'd like to do. And then just slowly coming to one side when you feel ready. No rush, coming back to seated. Okay, lovely. And we'll just close today with floating the arms up and an om. So whenever you feel ready, breathing in. Ooh. Sending kindness to yourself and naturally to others around you. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a nice weekend, and I'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Amber. Bye.
Pleasure. Thank you. Bye. Bye.